Altseason? Altseason. Altseason, where are you? Altseason. Is anybody seen Altseason? All right, what's going on? Where's Altseason? That's the big question being asked nonstop every day right now. Is Altseason dead? Did it already happen? Is it ever going to come? Is this cycle canceled? Is Altseason canceled? Well, don't think so. We are in what's called Uptober, what's known in the crypto space as Uptober. September is typically a red down month, almost every cycle. October, almost every cycle is an up month. October, November, December is our runs. And we're still here on the, 10th of October. So we're early. We're still early in October. Expect a run, middle of the month to the end of the month, into November, into Thanksgiving, into Christmas, the holiday times. It's going to run. We're going to also have a pullback. But let's look historically at what has happened. So we're looking here at Bitcoin, and we're looking at it historically. Let's go back to 2017, 2018 timeframe. So if you look here, July, August, relatively flat into September 30th here, still flat. Look at it rise here in October, November, December. Bitcoin hit its blow off top really at the end of November, December 1st timeframe, when it hit its all-time high at that point near around 20,000. And then it dropped down. Okay. And then you go here to 2021 Altseason, September, right? Pretty flat in August, September. We're at the end of the month. Didn't move yet. Notice this. Look at this. Didn't move. Look at October. Look at November. Look at December. Look at January. All the way into February in 2021. And I really remember this one because that is a massive candle. That's basically almost a God candle, they call. It just shot up from October all the way into February. Chance that we do very similar things. Obviously, the market is totally different than it was back in 2021. That was COVID time. What this was the biggest infusion of money, global liquidity in history, in the history of this planet, our biggest increase in global liquidity. And that caused this. I don't think we're going to get that same level of increase in this current cycle. Okay, and then we go and you have down into 2021 and then back up again, setting a new all-time high. Second peak right there. At the end of September, this was the rare instance where August, September moved in 2021, and then down, and then up again in February for the third final peak, which was the smaller peak. Yeah, the peak one down, peak two, slightly higher, a bit higher, then down, and then peak three, and then a crash. Then we really dropped down under 20,000. And we just muddled around here, went lower down to 16.5, and then we worked our way up. Okay, and then we get into 20, again, it didn't really move a whole lot in September last year. You had Bitcoin moving a little bit in October, and then of course, November, it took off into December, and then to January and February of 2024. And then down. And then, of course, it's just working its way up again. And we set new all-time highs here in 24. And then it's continuing to work its way up. And what do we have going on here? We have the global M2 money supply increasing. And this is the dollar losing value for the most part, up and down, a little bit of choppiness in here. But the dollar losing value is being devalued. And I anticipate it to continue to go up. I don't anticipate this level of increase. But we're going to get a big increase because we have so much institutional adoption. We have like 201 Bitcoin treasury companies. And I will speak about the dangers of the treasury companies because they do pose danger ahead for all of them. Solana, Ethereum, all these treasury companies, they pose danger ahead. All right, now let's look at altcoins. And what we're going to do with altcoins, we're going to start the original altcoin, which would be Ethereum. Watch Ethereum, how this tracked in 2017 and how it spiked up and we had a blow off top again. Here go October, into November, into December. And at the end of December, it had its blow off top. And then the money went out of Ethereum and into other altcoins. And they later, like Litecoin and a few others, and they had a blow off top and all crashed, all came crashing down. And make no mistake about it, it will happen again, very similar to this, similar, not the same. Everybody wants to compare things to the past. And yeah, you'll have things that, as they always say, things don't repeat, but they do rhyme. And it's going to rhyme similarly, but there will be some different things there that will throw a monkey wrench in for people. But we will have a precipitous fall, and we will probably have a third peak again in Bitcoin. And that may happen sometime early in 2026, before I think we have a nice retracement before Bitcoin maybe starts to go back up again, the third and fourth quarter of 2026. So let's look at Ethereum again. September, down, right? You're at the end of September, it's down. October takes off, November, December, January, February, March. And you see how late it went here and then down a little and up. Ethereum really had its run here. Going into July, it was October of 2021 when it hit its peak. And Bitcoin hit its peak at the same time. So Ethereum kind of followed Bitcoin up here and then crashed. And then it had its third little peak here too. But the first peak wasn't as high as Bitcoin's, but as the money moved out of Bitcoin went to Ethereum, Ethereum had a much bigger second peak and then a smaller third peak. But the third peak was still higher than the first peak here. Keep that in mind. Probably going to have something very similar here again. And then a precipitous fall into May of 2022 when it really drops, when you went from 46 and change all the way down to 1,070. And then you had bouncing around, dropping around, and then, it's peaked back up here again and it's getting near its all-time high again, very close. I do anticipate it breaking a new all-time high again here and working its way up as money rolls out of Bitcoin into Ethereum and then out of Ethereum and in altcoins. That's when alt season happens. Look for full-fledged alt season, probably November timeframe, December. Blow off top, potentially January, February, as late as March. Look for it to be as late as March 2026. That could be the blow off top for altcoins. But I do anticipate Bitcoin falling before then, having its third peak before March, more likely January, early February timeframe. That's just a guesstimate, kind of based on somewhat how previous cycles played out. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I'm going to stop sharing here, but that's what's going on. That's what's going on in the crypto space. Cycles, again, they don't repeat, but they do rhyme. And we're going to have very similar things. We are at our absolute peak global money supply. We are really losing value in the dollar, and that's going to continue. The Trump administration is going to continue to devalue the dollar. We had one rate cut of a quarter point. We're going to have another one in November, a quarter point probably, another one in December of a quarter point probably. And we have to think about other things moving forward as to what's going to happen in 2026, because we do have a lot of factors coming in here. On the last jobs report where we lost like 962,000, almost a million jobs, AI only accounted for, it was either 16.8 or 16.9% of those job losses. They are anticipating, whether it's next spring, summer time, that it could be 48% of job losses, potentially higher. I've seen estimates up to 68% of job losses due to AI and the advancement of AI. We are going that way. AI is not going away. It's going to keep getting better and better and better. It's going to really hurt jobs. So how are we going to offset this? You got to kind of forward think a look to the future. What is the government going to do? And they already are putting steps in. That's why we're very crypto friendly here in the US. The Trump administration sees what's happening. That's why we have the Stablecoin Act. That's why we have stable coins coming. That's where the dollar will end up going into the digital dollar. We're going to have that. There's going to be something called UBI, which stands for Universal Basic Income. As massive job losses come, people are going to, if they don't have money to pay bills, they're going to lose their minds. So the government's going to have to print, further devalue the money, the dollar. So you'll see the dollar precipitously fall in value. purchasing power is really going to fall dramatically. There will be a UBI, but cryptos and risk on assets are going to save a lot of people. But man, are they going to crush the middle class and the working class? They are going to crush them. And that's where those people really need help, and they're really going to need to be taken care of, because if you're a landlord like I am and I have rentals, how are people going to pay rent if the dollar is devalued and they can't afford groceries, they can't afford food, electricity, all these different things? So forward think what is going to happen into next year. Yeah, these cryptos will go up. Bitcoin will set its new all-time high, and that'll look great. But that doesn't do anything for your average Joe and Jane. They're going to be hurting. They're going to be feeling it. So hopefully we'll have some new entrepreneurial ideas out there for people that come up with new business types. I do think the entrepreneurship is going to be the way to go moving forward. Cryptos will end up taking a massive, massive hit next year. And I mean massive. And getting back to the Bitcoin treasuries and the Solana treasuries, the XRP treasuries, the Ethereum treasuries, they're all going to have to sell except for Strategy. And the reason Strategy won't, because Michael Saylor's average buy-in of Bitcoin is so much lower. He's going to be protected because he's bought so much cheap Bitcoin. And as you see now, they put a pause on buying. Smart, because he realizes we're at a near high. He wants to wait, let it peak, come back down, make that correction, probably resume buying again at that point. He's being a little more strategic about it, hence Strategy. He's going to play the cycles. He's going to play things the right way. A lot of these new treasury companies are not. They're going to be forced to sell and liquidate. There's going to be a lot of bankruptcies in stock exchange. You're going to see a lot of bad things happen, or they're going to be forced to sell their Bitcoin, and that's going to further crash it. So people thinking that this stabilizes it, it's not going to stabilize it, because when things go bad and things go south, they're going to have to fix this, right? And they're going to have to sell their Bitcoin and put that money back into the company to continue to keep it going. So that's the future is in peril in a lot of ways, but there's going to be, as bad as that all sounds, and I know it sounds horrible, there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities out there. So I want people to start thinking in advance, what can I do for the future? So if people are losing their jobs, they've got less things to do. What are they going to do? They're going to pick up hobbies. More people will be playing golf. More people will be playing pickleball, tennis. More people will be knitting. More people will be doing games like my wife likes to do, mahjong, whatever it's called. All these different things. There's going to be new business opportunities for that, for people who could bring communities together, because you need community. So communities will come together, play these games, do this, and it's going to be business opportunities. And you need to make it affordable, obviously, especially as people lose value with purchasing power. So there's going to be opportunity, as bad as it sounds. And just remember, just like the people thought the automobile industry was going to destroy everything, obviously the horse and carriage and all that, but think about all the parts that needed to be made for the automotive industry. How many suppliers are in business? And these are major employers, these suppliers. As automation came into place, it's obviously reduced the amount of people needed to be on the platforms building these automobiles, but you still need people in place. You still need people to run AI. AI is still newer. It still needs to be monitored and checked to make sure it's doing things properly, because it's right now, it's an infant. And as an infant, it's going to make mistakes. It's not going to do things exactly the way you want. So you've got to ask it and prompt it the correct way. And as it grows to a teenager, it's going to get better. And as it matures further down the road, it's going to get better, better, and better. So there's great opportunity ahead, as well as some perilous times coming ahead. Be prepared for those economic bad times. Be into some risk on assets. Real estate's still great. I anticipate it'll still be good and strong. There's always a need for shelter. Gold and silver will continue to go up. They'll have their pullbacks, just like cryptos will have their pullbacks, but they won't have probably the dramatic pullbacks that you get with cryptos. So they're a little more stable. I know JP Morgan loves to do the silver squeeze and crash that. The silver's a little more volatile than gold, just because gold's a $27 trillion industry, where Bitcoin is only a 2+ trillion, and cryptos are only 4 trillion, I believe, right around 4 trillion, or just slightly under right now. As that shifts and more money goes into the crypto space, and the blockchain, that will eventually get to a 8 trillion, 10 trillion, 12 trillion, and probably by 2030, 2035, 20+ trillion, maybe more, depending on how much debasement goes on with the dollar. That's where we're headed. Altseason is coming, just coming back full circle here. Altseason is coming. It's knocking at the door. I could see it right here at my door. It's coming. Be prepared. It's not going to miss us. Global liquidity is at an all-time high. Money's flowing into cryptos at record levels. You saw Bitcoin just had 5.9 trillion, I believe, in inflows, a record, brand new record coming in. So it's not going anywhere. Altseason will come. People will take their money out. And what you want to be in is good altcoins and meme coins. NZ is going to play a lot of meme coins. You're going to make a lot of Gen Z millionaires. A lot of people are going to become rich overnight playing those right ones in that not Wall Street, crypto casino. The Wall Street and the Dow are going to set all-time new highs before the end of the year, before that has a check back. But we're going to have checkbacks. Just know and understand that. Don't panic. Don't panic. Sell in crypto. Know when these altcoins are flying, sell. Set up price points to sell. When you see it getting really frothy, sell. Take your profits. Remember, only 5% of people, 5% make money in cryptos. 95% lose. It may be more this time. Maybe more than 5%, or more than 95% losing. So be on it. My plan is to sell pretty much everything and then buy back in as things go down. I hope this helps you guys out there. Be ready. Altseason is coming.